Look, you're watching this video because you're someone who wants to make an ambitious amount of money. I'm talking millions of dollars. So that's exactly what I'm going to show you how to do. Because in case you didn't know me, my name is Tyson. I've been in business for around 2 years now. It took me my first year to get to around 10K a month with copywriting, which is exactly what I teach on this channel. And then I was able to make over $100,000 a month by starting my own education business. And there were a few key things that I did along the way that I'm going to share with you in today's presentation. So without any further ado, let's hop right into it. Okay, so look, here's how to get ahead of 99% of people, okay? And you can use all the things I'm teaching you for more than just wealth as well, because trust me, the things that I'm going to be showing you guys are going to not only get you wealthy, they're going to get you ripped. They are going to get you achieving all the things that you want to achieve and reaching all of your goals, okay? So not only have I been using all of these things, but of course, where do you think I learned them? I learned them from other millionaires and from other huge entrepreneurs and businessmen that I admire, and also they're my role models as well. Okay, so all of the great mindset gems and all the systems that I've learned, I have put them all in this video for you guys here today. So guys, success in business starts in the mind. So we're going to learn how to adopt the millionaire mindset to achieve financial freedom, and I'm going to show you exactly how. Now, before we get into this, there's something that I really need to stress, okay? What this is not. I need to tell you guys what this is not. This is not about to be rah motivational speech. I'm not about to come out here and tell you you need to set SMART goals or all this other stuff that you've already heard a million times before, because I'll tell you what. Me, myself, I'm really big into, mindset stuff. I like watching mindset content on YouTube, and it always suggests it to me. But I find it gets so repetitive, right? People saying the same stuff over and over and over again. Well, in this video, I have strived to make it all the stuff, all the best stuff that I'm very confident you haven't heard of, because I've consumed it all, man. I'm just gonna be honest. I've been doing this for years. I've been consuming it all. So I've boiled it down to everything that is necessary. And also everything that I'm showing you and teaching you here is actionable, okay? I'm not just teaching you some stuff to put it into perspective, okay? I will be teaching you some of that stuff as well. But a lot of it is action steps, okay? Things that you can start doing today that will get you visibly and noticeably closer to where you want to go. So without any further ado, man, let's hop right into it. Let's go. Like I said, action is the word of the day. Okay. So in order for you guys to take as much action as possible and make sure that you do, I have created a whole free resource for you among a whole bunch of other free resources for you in the copy starter kit. Even if you're not a copywriter, or especially if you are a copywriter, you're going to want to go and pick this up in the link in the description for free. Okay. And inside, it is literally just a checklist of boxes you can tick off of things that we're going to be covering here today and the action steps. Okay. So make sure that you download that and you actually actively engage with this video. So the great mindset filter. So we're going to learn why mindset is the way that it is. So you can see this diagram here on the right. I actually created it myself in Photoshop because I'm a goddamn Photoshop genius, but that's a little bit off topic. So on the top, you see you have kind of like a smaller brain, like the mindset isn't where it needs to be. So you get something small in, you get something small out, right? It's just ordinary. But here on the bottom, you can see the same information that's going in, and the output is completely different. Why? Because the mindset acts as a filter. Everything that comes into your mind is filtered through your mindset. So just like a filter, your mind either purifies or contaminates the information that comes through it. People don't believe what they see what they believe. So if you really do believe that there's tons of opportunities out there for you in the world, then you're gonna find them. But if you're that person who's just poopy pants mentality, glass half empty, there's no jobs out there, there's no opportunities out there, there's absolutely no way for me to make it, then of course you're not gonna find any ways for you to make it, okay? He who thinks he can and he who thinks he can't are both correct, all right? Your beliefs are really what is going to shape your reality, all right? Because there are realistically, it comes down to 5 main fundamental keys of the top 1%. There's 5 things that I noticed that everybody really does and puts their all into. Number 1 is focus, which is the ability to lock in on one goal, task, and direction while cutting as many possible distractions. Okay. Now, you might have heard of these before, right? You might be like, okay, well, I know I should stay focused, for example, but you have the actual steps, systems, and frameworks in place to stay focused. Because I'll tell you this before we move on, all right? And we're going to go deep into every single one of these, but focus really does not come down to you just keeping in mind, okay, I need to be focused. Focus comes down to creating habits by systems, okay? Taking the choice away from yourself and taking willpower out of the equation, and instead just implementing certain things into your life that will make those decisions automatic. And of course, we're going to get into that. But that should hopefully give you a little bit of insight into what we're going to be learning. Next is vision. Okay, creating a master plan that is big enough to add motivation fuel to your tank. All right. And I mean, again, we're going to go deep into all of these. And you might think that you understand these things before I actually speak about them. But let me tell you, like I said, we're going to be learning all the things that most people have never heard of before. Next, of course, is delayed gratification. Okay. And I'm not talking about that average, David Goggins, stay hard type stuff. Of course, I love my Goggins. But again, that's not the type of stuff that we're going to be covering in today's video. Saying no for short-term gain in order to attain more gains in the long term is the best way to ensure massive success. And then, of course, Nowism, which is one that you probably have not heard of before. Every second you wait, procrastinate, or stall, you're limiting your ultimate potential. So we're going to learn how to fix that with what I call Nowism. And then, of course, embracing discomfort. Life as an overachiever is uncomfortable. Better get used to the taste than try to change the flavor. Okay, so there is exactly what we're going to be learning, and then a small description of it that doesn't really do it justice, but again, you guys are going to see. So number one, understanding focus. See, people have no idea how to focus, and you might have heard this before about, attention spans are really short. You got short form content like TikTok, and people are just scrolling on their phones every day like zombies. Like, yes, that is true, but I want to also present to you another demonstration that when I heard the demonstration or when I realized this, it really put it into perspective. So follow me real quickly, okay? How long do you think it would take you to count from 1 to 24? Probably 4 to 5 seconds, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not very difficult, okay? How long would it take you to recite the alphabet? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way till Z. The same, probably like what? 3, 4, 5 seconds? Not very long, okay? But what if you try to do them both at the same time? In theory, it should take you twice as long because you're counting essentially twice the amount of numbers and letters, right? But in fact, it takes you 10 times as long if you could even do it at all. So here's what I mean. You can try this for yourself as well. 1A, 2B, 3C, 4D, 5E, 6G, 7H, 8I, 9J, 10K, 11L. Like, you see how much slower that gets? And honestly, I would probably stumble through it, not be able to make it past like the middle letters and numbers. If it was past the middle letters and numbers or the last bit, I would definitely mess up, lose my spot, and I'd just sit there looking like kind of a dummy. But that's because multitasking just doesn't exist. When you're trying to switch between two tasks, it doesn't work like that. So let me give you an example, right? So I teach people how to make money by writing copy and with marketing and things like that. So when you're doing outreach, you're basically trying to get clients, trying to find jobs. You want to do everything at once where you want it to be a super repetitive and simple task. So there's finding clients, outreaching to clients, and following up with clients. You don't want to do all three of those things at the same time. You want to find 20 clients for one day, and then the next day you want to do nothing but outreach. Then the next day you want to do nothing but follow up. For example, right? It doesn't have to be copywriting. It can be literally anything. All right. I know with me personally, I watched these videos, right, when I first started getting into wealth creation. And a lot of them was like, yeah, man, I'm 21. I have 8 income streams and I make 30 grand a month. And that to me was like, whoa, the way to make 30 grand a month is by having 8 income streams. So I started doing everything. I started doing affiliate marketing, Instagram theme pages, graphic designing, drop shipping. I tried literally everything all at the same time. And I was spread so thin that of course none of it worked. Of course, none of it worked. I mean, it'd be crazy to think that it does, but I know that now. I didn't know that then because I didn't understand focus, especially not how I'm about to show it to you right now. We're not even into it, and honestly, I'm kind of dropping bombs already. So first, when it comes to focus, you can't even talk about focus if you don't understand deep work. What is deep work? Deep work essentially is a type of work where you're in flow state. Okay, you're in flow state. So if I'm in deep work, there are no distractions. I'm not checking my phone. I'm not even thinking about things. Time almost seems to just elapse. You know how people say time flies when you're having fun? And it's true. It really does. If you're like playing a game of basketball or you're working and you're completely focused and then you look up at the clock and you're like, damn, 2 hours just went by. I just felt like 20 minutes. That's what deep work is. And it's something that's not super easy to get into, but it's something that is crucial for you to becoming as productive as possible. Now, there's a whole book called Deep Work by Cal Newport, I believe. Good book, although it gets into a lot of detail that is not really that needed. Okay, so I'm gonna save you the whole 20 hours of reading, and I'm just gonna give you the complete masterclass right here, everything that you need to know, and of course, nothing that you don't. So a common misconception is that you can deep work for 8 to 12 hours. Okay, that's another thing, is that deep work is finite. The truth is most people only have about 3 to 4 hours of daily deep work that they can get into, where they can get into flow state. Okay, so you need to optimize for that deep work. You don't want to spend deep work, like your first 3 to 4 hours a day, watching YouTube videos and learning, because that's wasting your time. Right? You want to spend it, in fact, doing the stuff that is mentally taxing, mentally draining, and difficult. But what is flow state? Flow state is essentially like a work mode when you're doing the work and forget all perceptions of time. It's kind of like when you're in the game, in the zone, right? So how do you even conduct deep work? Well, picture your 3 to 4 hours of daily deep work like nitrous boost in a car. You want to use it only on the most important tasks. Like, again, when it comes back to copywriting, it would be like outreach or actually writing the copy, right? The difficult stuff. And then the other stuff is what's called shallow work, right? You can do shallow work for the rest of the 4 hours a day or 12 or 7 hours a day or however many hours you want, because shallow work is more passive. It's not as difficult. It's not as mentally taxing. And the reason as to why is because after you get past 4 hours of deep work, you are getting what is called diminishing returns. Your output per unit of time is dropping. So you can do 20 outreaches in your first hour, but on your 7th hour, you can only do like 5 outreaches, for example, right? You're not going to be nearly as efficient, which is where deep work comes in. This is the stuff you need to know if you want to become productive, all right? Because it's not just what you do, right? It's not just going into drop shipping or copywriting or SMMA. All that doesn't even really matter. It all works. It's impossible to say any of it doesn't. Maybe one will work a little bit better than the other, possibly, but they're all pretty hard. Really what it comes down to is all of this stuff right here. Can you deep work longer than 4 hours? Yes, but it's like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. That's why every deep work session should be timed and accounted for. This is absolutely crucial as well, okay? When you're conducting your deep work, you should picture it like exercise, right? Like running, like you don't just run a marathon, right? You first run a mile and then you run 2 miles and then I don't know how many miles in a marathon, but you get the point, right? You work up to it, which is exactly where deep work comes in. If you can only do 30 minutes of deep work, and I'm talking deep work, I'm talking you set a timer. You put your phone, goddamn, as far away as possible in the next city, if possible. Okay, you put it far away from you. 0 distractions, no checking Facebook, no checking Instagram, no checking Discord, none of it. And you just do the work, and you don't even lift your head up until it's all the way done. Okay, if you can only do that for 30 minutes, do it for 30 minutes. Do it for 30 minutes for every day for a week, and then work up to an hour. Okay, that's how you want to structure it. Important note: this is absolutely crucial. You guys need to know this. Okay, this will absolutely kill you in the beginning. Do not wear busy as a badge of honor. Too many people want to brag about working 10 hours a day instead of actually getting the results, right? And this was me, man. This was me. I was the dude like, yeah, man, I'm out here working 80 hours a week and I'm the man. And look at how much I'm working. Look at how much I'm grinding. I'm hustling, blah, 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 blah. Busy is not a badge of honor, okay? And I need to expose you guys to Parkinson's law. Parkinson's law states that any task will take up the amount of time that is allotted to it. Example, I give you 1 year to write a book in example A. Example B, I give you 1 month to write the book. That book is always going to take however much time I give you. If I tell you you can write it in a year, you're going to take a year to write it. If I tell you you're going to write it in a month, you're going to take a month to write it. And the funny thing is that the quality of 1 month to 1 year will probably be negligible, meaning not that important, right? So if you're sitting here saying, okay, I'm going to do this task, I'm giving myself 10 hours a day to do it, you're going to stall, you're going to do it slowly, you're going to do it inefficiently, and it's going to take 10 hours the way that you're doing it. But if you give yourself the same task, but say, okay, I'm literally only going to give myself 1 hour to do it, that task is going to be completed in that 1 hour. Even if you miss that 1 hour and it's an hour and a half, it's still going to be better than you sitting there working for 10 hours on something you could have spent an hour and a half on. Okay, these are all things that you need to know because, man, the thing is that there's hustle culture basically everywhere. Hustle culture is, man, you got to grind, bro. You gotta grind, man, and you gotta suffer and you gotta sacrifice and blah 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 blah. Sure, all that might be true, but don't be one of those dudes out here that's like, I don't know, just thinks it's super cool or super dope that you're working so hard. Like, the result is what matters. Deep work systems. Okay, so the problem with human nature is that nobody, no matter how disciplined, is immune from temptation. Now, this is not even just business. This is just life. This is just stuff like life that you just need to know. That's why when your significant other wants to go on a girl's trip to Miami, it gives you a little bit of anxiety, no matter how loyal your partner is. She wants to go to some Miami club and you're not even there. I don't know. Of course, she loves you. Of course she does, but anything can happen. That's why systems are the number one best things you can implement in your life to make a massive difference. Here are a few. Okay, so nobody is immune to temptation. So we're going to take temptation away out of the equation so that we, by default, always stay disciplined and always stay on track and focused. Toggle Tracker, TOGGL. I've been preaching this one since way back in the day. Okay, you can only improve what you measure. So this app will track your time, see where it goes, and allow you to improve your time management from there. Whenever I'm doing outreach, all I do is go to my software here, Toggle Tracker. I press play on the outreach task. And then maybe I'm doing some copywriting. I press play on the copywriting task. And then I can go back and see, okay, I worked 4 hours, I worked 8 hours, or I worked 12 hours. And here's exactly the breakdown of what I worked on. And if I take a break, I'll tell it that I took a break. And I just track it, right? The thing is that you really can't optimize what you don't track. If you don't know what you're doing or you can't see what you did, also it holds you accountable, right? Because honestly, if I'm goofing off, I put that in my Toggle Tracker. I put that I'm scrolling through my phone or on a break. And when I look at my Toggle Tracker and I see that I've been on a break or I've been just messing around for 3 hours and I worked for 4 hours, that's not going to make me feel that good, right? That actually makes me more motivated to be doing what I know that I should be doing rather than just goofing off. Next, of course, is Unhooked, a Google extension to help you block unwanted videos from showing up in all parts of your YouTube feed. You know how you open up YouTube and it just gives you a whack of videos that it thinks would be good for you to watch, right? But you only went on there to search up one specific thing. You only went on there to search up like one thing that's relevant to you and nothing that isn't. But of course, you get absolutely face blasted with every single video you could possibly like. And of course, this is where you start falling down the YouTube rabbit holes. And like I said, nobody is immune to temptation. I have this installed. All the top business dudes, here's the thing that I find funny, right? I get on sales meetings and calls with a whole bunch of business guys all the time. All these guys making 6 figures, 7 figures, and 8 figures, meaning they make over $10 million a year. And the majority of these guys, bro, their desktop and their apps always look the same. You look at some dude who hasn't made any money in business yet. He has 45 Google tabs open. He has 18 softwares open. And he's just like all over the place. Like, I don't even know how you work on a desktop like that. When you look at when a successful person screen shares with me, I see that they go on their YouTube and everything is blocked. They don't get tempted with any titles or thumbnails. The same with their whole laptop, their whole computer, their whole workflow, right? And those are things that you can implement in order to, again, become more focused and cut down on distractions. And then, of course, to-do lists and scheduling. I swear by these, right? I swear by these. And this is literally how I do it on the left. You can do it however you want to do it, format it how you want. I format it like my schedule is there on the left. The time is there in the middle. Whether I do it or not is kind of there over on the right by a check mark or an X. And then also my tasks, that's where I just brain dump all my to-do stuff. On the left where it says schedule, that's where I'm organized. I've been doing this for a long time. And this is the other thing, man, is before I even really started making real money online, I did all this stuff. You need to become the type of person worth the amount of money that you want before you get that amount of money. Okay, you have to be the champion before you become the champion. That's something that Mike Tyson said that has always stuck with me. To make sure your day is well prioritized and cut down on decision fatigue. Oh yes, decision fatigue is real. When you have to decide everything, right? Like, okay, wait, you just finished a task and you're like, okay, so what other tasks do I have to do? And you have to think about it. Like, okay, so which tasks are more important? You have to think about it again. And you're like, okay, so well, how long should I do this task? And you have to think about it again. You go through that whole process 4 or 5 times throughout the whole day, unless you schedule your stuff. If you schedule your stuff, you think about it once at the beginning of the day and never again. That makes so much of a difference I can't even put it, words cannot describe, okay? Words fall flat to how much of a difference that makes. Now, I've given you guys a bunch of tools and systems and strategies, but if you are using some other ones that I haven't mentioned here, or you know of some other ones that you want to start implementing, make sure you leave it down in the comments so that everybody can take value from this section right here. So here, of course, are the action steps. Like I said, you need to be completing the action steps. Otherwise, just sitting here and listening and watching passively is not going to get you the result that you want. Action step is to get consistent with implementing at least one of those systems into your daily routine, meaning to-do lists and time scheduling, time tracking, or installing Unhooked or any other software. Guys, notice that these action steps are not difficult. These are not difficult. It might take you what, bro? 15 minutes max. 15 minutes, okay? You can spare 15 minutes. Number 2, finding your vision. A man without a vision for his future always returns to his past. And it is true. Build your grand vision. Guys, the mind is separated into logical and emotional. Maximize both to give yourself the best chance at success. This gives you a purpose. Okay, so let me dial it back here. I am a copywriter, marketing coach, whatever you want to call it, right? I go really, really deep into marketing, and marketing is something that I've been studying in depth for the last couple of years. And there's only really 2 ways that people make decisions, okay? People make decisions emotionally, and then they justify them with logic. And that happens with every part of what you do as a human. Part of it is logical. The other part is emotional. Okay. So the logic part of it is, okay, I want to make all this money, or I need to make all this money so that I can quit my job, quit working 9 to 5, provide for my family more, get the things that I want. But then the emotion based part of that, right, is how would all that stuff feel? What would it feel like to drive your dream car and to see all the people who doubted you as you are driving past in your dream car or anything like that, right? Something that really emotionally gets you amped up, the motivation, okay? The logic part of it is more of the discipline, okay? All the stuff that I just showed you, all of that is mostly logic, okay? All the stuff where I'm telling you, you need to set up these systems, and you need these softwares, you need to be tracking, you need to be scheduling. That's the nuts and bolts, the logic part of it. The intangible, the emotion is just as important. And when you optimize for both of these, that is when you really start making big moves, okay? Live in the future. What car will you drive? What neighborhood will you live in? And what trips will you go on? See me with my Camaro right here? Bro, I was driving a hoopty. Man, I was going to work one day. Dashboard looking like a Christmas tree, bro. I had every check engine light on that you could even imagine. The speedometer didn't work. I was driving my car and it wouldn't even tell me what speed I was going. It was just the dial was right there on 0. And I was chilling, thinking to myself how nice it's going to be when I'm in my car, in this specific car right here, driving down the street, and how it's going to be feeling. And of course, it pushed me harder. Of course, it made me go harder, right? But the opposite is also true. You need to anticipate the struggle. Of course, I knew that I would make it. I knew that all that stuff would be great and it would feel amazing. But of course, there's also going to be struggle. Predicting adversity is how you build resilience and get up quicker when you get knocked down. None of it is going to be easy, but anticipate it. Anticipate the struggle. And then when you're struggling, you're going to be like, well, did I think this was going to be easy? No, of course not. And if you do, sorry, bro, but you're in the wrong place. And of course, I want to give you guys a story of my man, Elaine. Okay, Elaine is a guy that I coach. He's currently, I believe he's 16. He's still in high school, right? A very young guy. And he's a copywriter, right? And I was speaking to him and he texted me. And recently he closed a $4,000 a month copywriting client, right? And I asked him, so what's the biggest thing that helped you? The biggest thing that really helped you get that? And he said that the biggest thing that helped him was straight up believing that he deserves $4K a month for his services and knowing that he does. And the way that he did this is he would get on sales calls with people. And if they, for whatever reason, weren't open to the idea of a $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month deal, he would just say, okay, no worries. Doesn't seem like this is going to work out then. And he would just leave. It got to the point where he would either get on sales calls and he would only close people who only spend time on people he knew could afford him. And then he got his first $4K a month client. Or once he said, okay, that's fine. Well, that's how much it's worth. And if you're not willing to pay that, then that's okay. And he started to leave. Then all of a sudden, everything changed and they were like, whoa. Well, let me learn a little bit more. Now I'm interested because you're willing to walk away, right? Once you start believing and acting and moving like how you know you actually are, like doing what you know and expecting what you know you deserve, man, everything about to change. But I need to reveal to you guys the opportunity cost trap. When your vision works against you, because your vision is something that can push you towards the right path, but it can also veer you to the wrong path as well. All right. When your vision works against you, it kills your progress. Being fixated on opportunity cost will have you switching from thing to thing with no avail. Okay, here's the explanation. Opportunity cost is something that I learned recently from a dude that I knew is in university. So I asked him how much his university was costing him, and he was saying, like $20,000, but then also like another $20,000 in opportunity costs. And I was like, what do you mean by that? And he's like, well, I'm spending 4 years doing full-time college stuff. If I wasn't doing that 4 years where I was basically making no money, I could get even a minimum wage job at $20,000 a year for those 4 years. And realistically, that's like $80,000 opportunity cost right there. Where this comes into play is people are always wondering what they could have been doing or what they could be doing. I remember when I first started business, I dropped out of college to start business. And I was a year in and made zero money. I was a year in trying all these different side hustles, right? I wasn't really starting a business. I was kind of just doing all this side hustle stuff that I thought might work, jumping from thing to thing, kind of like just how I described here. And nothing worked. And it was discouraging. And the biggest friction and sadness and pain came from me thinking, what if I would have stayed in college? I might have graduated by now. I might have been making a little bit more money. My career would have been a little bit farther along, but now I'm doing this. And if this doesn't work out, then I could have been doing that. And it just brings you down this rabbit hole of self-doubt, okay? You really don't need to bother yourself with opportunity costs. It's not something to be worried about. And of course, today's action step when it comes to visualization is these, okay? So daily visualization. Really, really picture what it's going to look like when you make it to where you want to go. What's your car going to be like? What's your house going to be like? What neighborhood are you going to be in? What are you going to do for the people around you, the people that you love? Journal your perfect day, okay? So what would your ideal perfect day look like? I remember I literally did this when I was working around 50, 60 hours as a carpenter, right? So unskilled labor, basically, just cutting up wood and putting it on the house. And I knew my perfect day was like wake up super early, go to the gym, go for a jog, come back, do some work, have some food, hang out with my friends, and then do some of my hobbies, and then go to sleep. And that's like my perfect day, right? And when you visualize this perfect day and really break it down hour by hour, what it's going to look like when you get your time back, and when you start not having to trade your time for money, but make money more passively, what is that really going to look like? What would that feel like? And then next, of course, is consume success stories. This one is huge. There's no shortage of success stories online on the internet today, right? Not only do I have my own success story where, I basically made it out the mud, but I helped so many other people do the exact same thing. I've helped people go from 0 to 18 grand in like a couple months, and helped people go from saying like 0 to 10K a month, and they're like 16 years old and other absolutely crazy out of this world stuff. And when you start watching those videos or consuming that type of content, it will start to really get you motivated. I remember that is the number one thing that got me from just living life passively to, okay, I know that I can do this business thing. Because I saw people who look just like me, who talk just like me, who are younger than me, making so much more money than me, that it just instantly gave me that belief that I can do it. And then number 3, of course, delayed gratification. Rome wasn't built in a day, baby. We all heard it before. But let's get down to the nuts and bolts. Okay, so the problem that most people face is that they have a known cost for an unknown payoff. You're going to have to work your ass off, and nobody is going to tell you when exactly you're going to be able to get that money or get compensated. You won't get paid every 2 weeks like a job. We're all used to this comfort of getting bi-weekly or monthly paychecks. You're going to have the desire to predict the future. A lot of the times people ask me, Tyson, how long will it take till I get a client? You're asking the universe for a guarantee that it can never give you. There is no guarantees in this. And I want to also share with you a quote from my mentor. He didn't create this quote, but he said it, and I thought it was very, very insightful. He said, "The pain of uncertainty is often worse than the certainty of pain." People would rather stick to the devil they know, go to a job that they hate, and live a life that is mediocre in every way, shape, and form, than try to achieve more but be uncertain that it will all be worth it. They would rather just certain pain than the pain of uncertainty, which is strange. Like that ain't me. Sorry, but that absolutely ain't me. It could never be me, and that shouldn't be you either, especially not if you have the ambition to make a lot of money in life. Instant gratification. The reason most people want immediate rewards is because of technological advancements and the need for validation from others, and this one's huge. This is what I actually heard from Gary Vaynerchuk. He said the reason why people want to make progress so quickly is so that they can pull up in the fat ride, realistically because they're insecure. They want the validation of others in order to make them feel good. When in reality, man, forget it. Forget it. You need to be confident in yourself and just say, okay, look, this could take a really long time, but I'm just going to do it anyways. Because what's the alternative? Not doing it and just be a loser forever? We need to understand that big results take time. And here's another little experiment for you that will put things into perspective. If I asked you to build a structure, and of course I got this from Alex Hormozy as well, $100 million man over there. If I asked you to build a structure 4 feet tall as fast as possible with some bricks, you'd stack them vertically. Okay, so you stack brick on top of brick on top of brick vertically. But if I asked you to use the same bricks to build them 40 feet tall, you'd have to change your strategy and start all over. Don't sacrifice longevity for quick results. So it's kind of like the photo here on the right, okay? On the left, you can see that this man is building more of a pyramid, okay? It's going to take him longer and he's going to need more materials, but overall his structure is going to be more sturdy and it can go higher than the structure here on the right, which is just completely vertical with no foundation. If you take more time building that foundation, let's say it takes you 3 years to go to 10K a month. You can be confident at that 10K a month and that you're going to keep that 10K a month for a long time and probably scale even higher than that, more than the dude who hit 10K a month in 4 months, for example. Maybe a month after he'll go down to 7 months because something went wrong because he didn't actually take the time, take the steps required to build longevity in his business. Okay, that's just an example, but of course it all comes around full circle. It applies to everything that you do. And of course, building goodwill in the invisible currency. A lot of the times people sacrifice goodwill in order to get that quick payday so that they can get this Stripe screenshot and be like, oh, look at me, I made this amount of money and it's only been this long. And what goodwill is essentially is like an invisible currency. It's like a bank, right? So for example, if you are giving people value, right, they're going to want to pay you and they're going to be open to you pitching them an offer. On the other hand, if you don't give them anything in the first place, but you're trying to take from them, then of course they're not going to want to do any business with you. You need to build that goodwill. So if you're trying to shortcut your way to places, or you're not trying to get people the results that they actually need, instead you're only trying to worry about your own results, you're going to hurt yourself in the long run, man. Because reputation is something that takes years to build, seconds to destroy. Action steps. Boom. Get used to taking actions that have no immediate benefit but reward you in the long run. For example, make your bed. Something extremely easy. Make a bed, do something uncomfortable, right? There's even a whole book that I read called Making Your Bed, which is about this very subject. Next, of course, is to focus on client results over your own. Focus on the results of the people that you're helping. But no matter what business you're in, of course, I train copywriters, but really focus on the results of the people you're working for or working with, and the rest will come. Me, for example, I can guarantee you I could be making probably at least three times as much money as I could be making right now if I just put all of my efforts into marketing and pushing products and all that other stuff. But instead, I'm more focused on providing the absolute best product that I can, taking a step back and just taking months and months and months to perfect the system, months and months and months to make sure that people are out here making 18K a month and 10K a month and 7K a month and 8K a month, like that people are actually able to do it. And that's why so many people have become successful from watching the channel and being in the programs, okay? And next, of course, set a 1 year, 5 year, and 10-year goal. It's so funny to me how I look at my YouTube analytics. The vast majority of people are 18 to 24. okay? And they're talking about, man, how can I make 10K a month in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days? It's like, yes, you should shoot for that. Those are all cool to have those goals. But man, you could be 18 right now, fail for 5 years. You're still only 23. And if you make six figures, you are in the top 1% income bracket for your age still. And you failed for 5 years. And a lot of you guys are even younger than 18. Just put into perspective and know that you guys got time, man. You guys got time. And next, of course, is number 4, which is do it nowism. Shout out to my boy, Patrick Bet-David. Watching a Patrick Bet-David video, and he was talking about this principle called do it nowism, which sounds weird. I didn't know what it meant, but super useful. Sorry, my kitten is knocking down my door right now. Stay right there. And essentially, do it nowism refers to you taking action as soon as possible without delay, okay? And this is something that's so hard to do. Man, this was really difficult for me to do because I remember, so I was a person that was very introverted, right? Very introverted, and I hated getting on any type of phone call at all, let alone sales calls. I would literally sit there and rehearse what I was about to say on the phone before I got on the phone. And it was so hilarious. This one time, I was going to apply to go in the military, right? So I was like, okay, I'm going to say, my name is Tyson. I'm 16 years old, and I want to become a military reservist. That was the actual line, and I rehearsed it. He picked up the phone, and he was like, "Hello," and I was like, I said the line. I was like, "My name is Tyson. I want to become a military infantry reservist," or whatever I said. And he literally gave a good, hearty 10-second laugh, and he was like, "Sure, man. I'll send you over some application stuff." Because of how corny it sounded when I was like trying to be all formal, and it was clearly rehearsed and clear that I was so nervous. Imagine if I just picked up the phone and just was casual with it. It didn't waste that 20 minutes, didn't waste that time, right? But so many people do this, or they say, "Oh, I'm about to do this," but we're just gonna get right into it. Let me just read the slides, because every second you wait to take the plunge and do the work, you limit yourself. I don't care who you are, you've done this before. You're like, sitting there, I need to do this assignment, I need to do this homework, I need to do this thing, but you don't want to, and you just stall it a little bit. But for a moment, picture where you'd be right now if you executed action as soon as you knew you should do it. So I'm talking, you wake up in the morning, don't even look at your phone. Wake up in the morning, you take yourself to the gym, you come right back, you start doing work. You could probably finish gym and your 9 to 5 and your work and still have a whole bunch of time to spare in the span of a day. But no, instead, you go ahead and you procrastinate. It's kind of like Parkinson's law, right? Just give yourself way less time to do it. It will be done because if you give yourself less time to do it, you're not doing this procrastination stuff. Here's the thing, is that our own brains are masters of deception. You will happily get caught up in busy work in order to further avoid the work that you know you should be doing, just like before where I was talking about Parkinson's law, okay? You will avoid the work that you know you should be doing. So I know that I should be doing outreach, but I'm just going to watch a couple more outreach YouTube videos before that I start. Okay, I'm convincing myself that what I'm doing is productive when in reality, it's not the action that's actually going to move the needle. Okay. And of course, maybe you guys have heard of the Pareto principle, or maybe not. The Pareto principle essentially states that 80% of your results are derived by 20% of your actions. So for example, if you want to make money from copywriting, the things that you should spend the most amount of time on the 20% that's going to account for the 80% of the results is going to be mostly outreach. Maybe outreach and practicing copywriting. But instead, people spend all this time on watching all of these videos and doing all this copy review and reading a whole bunch of copy and looking for other copy and just doing a whole bunch of stuff that they know is not actually advantageous to them. It's not going to move the needle. Sure, it might help them and be somewhat constructive. It's probably more constructive than watching Netflix, but it's not what they should spend the majority of their time on, especially if they haven't done the needle moving activities first. The biggest time energy realistically is overlearning. Just keeping it absolutely 100,000. The biggest time enemy is overlearning. Working for one copywriting client will teach you more than 100 copywriting videos will, because you're going to learn about client success. You're going to learn about getting results or lack thereof. You're going to learn about client acquisition, outreach, all of it. Okay. So what you need to do is take 3 times more action than learning. You watch an hour of YouTube a day or an hour video, you do 3 hours of action. You watch 2 hours of YouTube, then you got to do 6 hours of action, at least. At least. Really, I would like to say that it should be 4 to 1. If you're just beginning, sure, you can start at 3 to 1 because there's some stuff that you actually need to know. Because the enemy to action is overcomplication. People want to get bogged down in the minute details. They want to worry about the complicated before they even get down the basics. They want to know the advanced methods before they even know the basics. They need to know what branch chain amino acids they should be taking when they're 300 pounds and don't even go to the gym yet. It's like, bro, do some push-ups, cut down on the cheeseburgers, and you worry about branch chain amino acids and all that other complicated stuff later, okay? So here's a visual representation of what it looks like, thinking versus doing. So let's say you have a 60 to 40 thinking to doing ratio, which means you think just a little bit more than you're doing, you're gonna get average results. But if you literally do just a little bit more than you're thinking, right, at the same 40 to 60 ratio, but opposite, you're going to get way more results, okay? And of course, if you're talking about 30, 70, it gets even more drastic of a change because doing is the stuff that's actually uncomfortable. It's the stuff that most people don't want to do, which is exactly why if you want to have what most people don't have, you got to do what most people don't do, and you got to do more than you think, okay? To put it simply, forget overthinking. You need overdoing. Start overdoing rather than overthinking. Because if you're overdoing and not thinking enough, bro, you're gonna make so much more progress than everybody else. So much more. Because it's kind of like one of those things where you can almost never have too much. I always say when I'm teaching people like how to speak on camera or have an actual presence, I tell them that there really isn't such a thing as too much energy, right? Sure, you might be a little bit too energetic for some people, but there's really no such thing as too much. Just like there's really no such thing as too much action to take. There really is not. All the people that I know who have gotten extremely crazy results with copywriting or just in business in general, bro, they don't ask stupid questions. They don't worry about taxes, for example, before they've even made a dime online. It's like, no, put all that stuff away for later. Be pragmatic in your thinking and just do everything that you need to do first. Action step. Begin scheduling your day using the 3 to 1 action to learning ratio for starters. Next, focus only on crucial tasks that you need to complete and start working before you are ready. Absolutely huge. You don't need to mentally prepare. You don't need a break. You don't need to scroll on your phone for a little bit. Also, if you're taking a break, you should not touch your phone. Taking a break and going on your phone is an oxymoron. It takes energy to go through and scroll, and it's depleting your attention span. If you're taking a break from work, you should be sitting there and thinking about things or staring at a wall or actually relaxing and taking a break. Okay, chilling out. And of course, 5, last but certainly not least, is embracing discomfort. Life begins at the end of your comfort zone. It's absolutely true. Don't judge yourself on how you feel. Judge yourself on how you do. It's always going to suck, right? People get too bogged down in, I want to be happy. What do you need to be happy for? You need to do the work. And when you do the work, happiness comes after. And this one's absolutely huge, guys. Don't do your best. Forget doing your best. Doing your best is beyond useless. Do what's required. People give 25% effort and swear they did their best. Okay, so if I told somebody to go to the gym, and I said, bro, just do your best, and they go to the gym 2 days a week, 20 minutes each time, and they do some crappy workout and eat pancakes, and I'm like, what happened? And they're like, well, look, man, it's hard out here, man. I'm doing my best, bro. I'm doing my best. I just like food, man. I just really don't like the gym. See, you're out here telling me what you like and what you don't like, what you enjoy and what you don't enjoy. Ain't nobody asked you. Nobody asked you, my boy. Do what is required. And if you're not willing to do what's required, then I'm gonna keep it absolutely 100,000. Don't even start. If you can't picture yourself sitting down at your laptop working for something every single day for a year or two and still getting little to no results, and you're not willing to do that, don't even start. I'm the only person on business YouTube, on anywhere that will ever tell you that. Everyone else will be like, bro, trust me, man, you're gonna make $100,000 in 84 days just by my course. That's what everybody else is gonna say. But I'm just saying, literally, don't even try, don't even start unless you're willing to give it a year or two and still not make sizable progress. That's the only time that I actually started getting clients, is when I forgot about the I'm going to try hard for 60 days. I'm going to try hard for 90 days. And at the end of the 60 days, I'm going to start making $5K a month. I was just like, you know what? I'm going to just implement this into my life now. I'm not going to treat it like a fad diet. I'm not going to treat it like a 60-day beach body diet where I starve myself every other day or something weird like that. It's straight up just a lifestyle change. It's like, I don't eat chocolate bars anymore. I don't eat pancakes anymore. I don't order Uber Eats anymore. All I eat is meal prep. That's just it. But here's the most common entrepreneur mistake, is asking the universe for a guarantee that it will never give you. Sort of just like I said that earlier, actually. I said that earlier, right? All this stuff is really just locked away in the brain bank, right? Because I know all this stuff because this is the stuff that I've been learning for so long. But that really is it. Is that you're just going to be uncomfortable. You're going to be uncertain. You're going to worry. But that's okay, and that's how it should be. Worry only about what you can control. Worry about your inputs, man. You can't control the outcome, but you can control the input. The question that you have to ask is, how much do I have to do in order to make the outcome that I want as likely as possible? That's it. So your goal, again, hypothetical, is to make $10,000 every single month with copywriting. How much do you have to do for it to be unreasonable for you to reach that goal? Okay, well, if I worked on it diligently, not just work, like I said, work at busy work, but if I did actually productive work, 4 hours every single day and 8 hours on weekends, 36 hours, that's almost a full-time job, right? So if you work on something for 36 hours a week for 2 years, how reasonable is it that you'll still be at $0? Very unreasonable. If you did it for 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, man, damn near impossible, right? Damn near impossible for you not to become successful. Because here's the thing, man, results are guaranteed. The time frame is what is not. Charlie Morgan quote. Pay the price. People mistakenly say, I'm only willing to pay the price if I'm guaranteed the outcome. And this is just mind-boggling to me. But if you do everything this year and miss your $100,000 goal by 1K, it's no biggie, right? The same goes if you do everything for a year and make no money. You're really not a failure, okay? So let's say your goal was to work on it for 36 hours every single day for a year. And you do that, and your goal is to make 100K, okay? So you can't control the outcome. So your goal shouldn't be to make 100K. Because let's say your goal is to make 100K. Basically, it really doesn't come down to you, does it? You really don't have any control of it. You can do every single thing right, but still not get the result. I'll put it in a different perspective for you. It's just like the lottery. So let's say your lottery the jackpot is 60 million, but the chances of you winning are 1 in 1 million. There's two things you can do. You can either increase your chances or you can buy more tickets, okay? So let's say your chances are 1 in a million. You buy 1 million tickets, but you still haven't won yet. Sometimes that's just how it goes. Other people are out here have a 1 in a million chance and they get it on their 7th chance. They got lucky. It is what it is. But the one way to ensure that you're always going to get it is not by just doing it more, but getting better at it. Getting better at the skill is the equivalent to increasing your odds, meaning now it's not 1 in a million, now it's 1 in 1,000. And if you have a 1 in 1,000 chance of doing something and you get 1 million tickets, man, chances are you're getting that 100,000 or you get that jackpot, that 60 million or whatever it is. You're getting the jackpot. That's when you actually get what you're aiming for. Realistically, you're getting closer to the answer and the right methods. After you find them, then you double down and it gets easier from there. Okay, so money goals are nice, outcome goals are nice, but you should realistically focus on the input. So action step, my guys. Decide right now if you want to continue working, even if you are not guaranteed to get the results. Judge yourself only based on your actions. Write down what's required to get what you want. And of course, measure success by how close you are to your input goal. So your next steps after this, all right? First of all, build the top 1% mindset. Use the top 5 keys of the 1% in your life, one at a time. Get consistent with it for 1 week and then move on to the next, okay? And start implementing and start getting more and more and more in. Be a part of the future top 1% by joining the 4D Discord community down below for free to network and get support from other dedicated people who are ready to help you change your life. And of course, get the top 1% skills. Learn a high income skill like I and many others did with copywriting. If you're not a copywriter already, that is literally what my whole channel is about. And we are doing the 15-day free first client challenge very soon. We're going to be hopping into that. So combined with the top 1% mindset, this will make it unreasonable for you to not reach the income you desire. And of course, the free worksheet, the free checklist for the top 1% mindset is also down in the description for free in the copy starter kit that you can download. Just click on that link and you can get it. Anyways, guys, that's it for today. Of course, I will see everybody on the next one. Peace.